gentlemen, welcome to the show. Supernatural Strength Channel, Neil Pickup in the Mother Fluffing House. And you can see a big shadow cast on the screen. It's coming from my guest in this episode of Deep Inside. It's the Professional Arm Wrestling League's own Mr. Alex Kurdecha of Poland. Now, first of all, Alex, is it Kurdecha or Kurdecha? How do you pronounce your name?
Firstly, best wishes for everyone who's seen this video. And about my name, it's in the Polish, it's like Kurdecha, and in the English, it's like Kurdecha. So if you're like Englishman, you pronounce it correctly, yeah, Kurdecha, Alex Kurdecha. So,
thank God for that. I didn't want to upset you, mate. You're a big dude for upsetting on the name. But how's things, Alex? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything is cool now. Like we have the better times because the quarantine time is end. It's all the gyms will be open in 10 days. So everyone is so happy now that everyone's to go to attack the gym to take all the races and start to train. Mm-hmm. And probably understand all the guys, all the sportsmen, armwrestlers of Poland, like waiting this time, this open possibilities for good training.
Have you been able to train at all during the lockdown period? Have you got equipment at home?
Yeah, I have some equipment. I have special handles. So I always use the rubber and use the rubber with the handles. But it's not the same like if you have one bar bubbles or something like not quite enough big waist. So it's good training. But it's not enough. It's not to everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's very different from table work, which is just exactly. for the purposes of people watching the show aren't as familiar with you, Alex. Is your preferred method of training with weights? Because obviously you're an extremely powerful guy, you've got a background in that. Or do you prefer to train on the table, sparring with other arm wrestlers? Which your preference?
Oh, it's a good question because previously when I played American football, we always trained with the weight. Yeah, it was not any special technique you like for the arms. It's like you lift, you work with the barbell with something heavy. Yeah, and when I'm starting to do arm wrestling, when I'm going to the sport, I'm start to get some knowledge from the guys who were in the Polish arm wrestling before me. Like they was more experienced and they learned me something. After that, I'm open the technique of arm wrestling that it's very important to start to train your fingers, wrists, and you're like the beginning of the fight in the arm wrestling, in my opinion. It begins from the grip, begins from the fingers, and you need to work in your body by one system. Yeah, you need to turn all your power by fingers, wrist, like elbow and chest, and also back, and also legs help you.
Yeah, so you're using your whole body as a giant lever.
Exactly. So if I will tell you that I'm training arm wrestling like in good arm wrestling training, I'm starting maybe not more than 1 or 2 years before. Even when I started to take part in some competition, I was trained only like lift something on my biceps, triceps also, like bench press, and a little bit with the grippers. Yeah, when I trained them, but it was so like near to arm wrestling training, but it was not arm wrestling training. Only now I'm like using these special things, candles and etc.
So let's start at the very beginning, mate. Let's wind the clock back a little bit. I know we like to do this in this show, in the Deep Inside series. We try and find out about the sort of history and background of the arm wrestlers. Now, obviously, you're a fascinating character in that respect, as you've already alluded to. You've done other sports, but what was your sort of first introduction to sports? Where were the first sports that you followed or pursued seriously, and at what age, Alex?
Oh, I was a kid, yeah. And the first was athletics.
Okay.
My first sport was athletics. It was like maybe age of, I don't remember, maybe 7 years old, 8 years old, yeah. Yeah, and it was like you're running, you do something like on like in the classes, it was like in the school, we do something. And I remember that even in the early years, I was like to lift something. Even we have like small barbells, small dumbbells, or small something. I like it more than running. But I'm also like to run, but only in the games, like for American football, basketball, soccer, like we do in Europe. So running was the purpose. Running to do something, And I like it. And this first sport was athletics. After that, I was disc throwing.
Oh, discus, okay.
I even won some competition like of my city. I even put some records. Also, it was funny in the school. We have some like military competition. When you throw not disc, you throw the grenade. Of course, not a real grenade. It was like special grenade for the competition. But I remember for me it was really interesting because I made the record of our city. It was 72 meters.
Wow.
For grenade, like equal of grenade F1. I remember it till these days.
That's impressive stuff, mate. So, have you got any brothers or sisters?
I have older brother.
Here we go.
He opened the sports school for me. Like I have like going to the sports school, and when I also was the kid, and on that time I was trying athletics. So this throwing was on that moment.
How much older is he, mate? How much older is your brother?
We have different 6 years. 6 years.
So it's quite a bit older,
Yeah. So it was like I always was a younger brother. I always have a big brother. You know, this situation when you have a big brother, like you always confident in yourself at the street, at the school. You know, like if you want to go to the gym, you have the gym partner. You have the person who will help you the lift, who will show you something and teach you something. So it was my brother. He helps me a lot. And probably
was he also into athletics? Was that sort of the road did you go in the same direction he did? So he was initially into athletics and you did?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like he shows me something and I want to try it. I'm trying everything he shows me and trying everything it was possible to try in the place. And I remember it was not many many options there. But I'm using everything. So it was, if I'm telling which sports I'm trying, it was running, like for example, 100 meters running. I remember my score was like 12 seconds. 12 seconds and dot one, Also, it was like 72 meters in the grenade throwing. It was 45 and something near to 50 meters in the disc. It was also, I remember that I was not in the high school, the middle school, I'm bench pressed 110 kilos. It was also like something like record of our school. Because
what age was that, Alex?
I will tell you. It was like 13 or 14, I'm not sure.
Whoa, that's a good bench, mate. At 13 years old, 110 kilo bench, wow. That's really, really good. Really good. How big were you then, mate? Were you already let's just tell people how big you are now. For people that don't know, and you're getting sort of a little bit of trick camera work here, just tell us how big you are, mate. How tall and how heavy are you right now?
Now I'm 2 meters 2 centimeters, and now my body weight is 145 kilos.
Whoa, big boy. Very big boy. Yeah, so I'm taking it that when you're in bed with your wife, she doesn't ask you to do wardrobe dives. Not a good look.
You know, I even do the home training, so if I don't have the bases somewhere near to me, I'm lift the people.
I can believe you do that, mate. In fact, you know what? I've seen some of your stuff online where you're lifting your girlfriend all over the place.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
not, mate? Why not?
Yeah.
So, now you're obviously an extremely big lad. You're 145 kilos, 2 meters 2, huge lad. How big were you in the day? If you sort of go back to the time when you did the bench, how big were you then?
You mean in the
13. Yeah.
I was tall, but skinny. I was not big. I was like, looks like a basketball player, something like that.
Okay.
And after that, when I'm going to lift and I'm starting to lift, I become bigger. And now, honestly, I don't remember the time when it was smaller than 110 kilos. Because maybe from the 16 years old, or maybe even 15, I was like bigger than 100, and after that 110, and increased my body weight.
What about your family, mate? Was your brother very big?
My brother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's also really big, yeah. And strong, but I don't know.
Bigger than you or smaller than you?
Little bit, not so like he's a big guy, yeah, but I'm taller. I'm taller like 4 or 5 centimeters.
Okay. And your dad or your mum, are they big, your parents?
Yeah, the dad is really tall and strong. I think it's the blood which I have in me, it's from my dad, because the mom is not so tall, like for me, with this, yeah. I even don't remember how tall she is, but that is also like, I remember the legends which older guys tells me when I was a kid about my father. So that he's really strong. He lift a big weight, and he's like, at the street, he's the biggest and the strongest guy. So the legends of our street, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that. It's funny. A number of the guys we've had on the show have that sort of focal point with their parents, with their brother, or their uncle, some member of their family who they sort of looked at and thought, yeah, that's my inspiration. And it sounds like with you, it was your dad. So your dad was obviously a big, powerful guy. Did he compete in any strength sports at all, mate? Was he, or was he very interested in strong athletes in strength sports?
The funny thing that we never wrestled with him. Like when I was a kid, of course he lifted me, and it was funny. But about he was he was the champion of the country was not named like Poland or Ukraine at the time, because it was the time before it was like Union of Social Republic. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. The huge country at that time. So he was the champion of all country in the bike riding on the long distance. So
really, wow.
Yeah. So he was really endurable.
Wow.
Yeah,
for a big man, that's rare, isn't it? As well?
I don't have it, so I maybe have endurance of I don't know, my grandpa or my mother, and the power of my father.
Yeah, that's really strange, because look, usually with really big guys, particularly big, heavy, tall men, they're not usually associated with endurance. It tends to be, your slimmer, smaller guys that can go forever. Remarkable.
Yeah. So for me, it's also really strange. Like, he probably in that time when he competed was not so huge like later when I remember him, but he was the big guy. So, and for me it's strange that the guy who ride by bicycle can be so big or huge. So it's strange.
Wow, but obviously the guy has good genetics. I mean, if he's sired yourself and your brother and you're both extremely big, powerful guys, then sounds like your dad's a bit of a physical specimen, mate. He's obviously a bit of a beast. Does he take a lot of interest in your arm wrestling now?
Yeah, he searching my bowling, my competition. He's also really proud about me, about results, also about everything. Like a father who has 2 sons. I think every father proud about kids and child. So he maybe, like everyone in our country, everyone searching the soccer, yeah? But about myself, he searching arm wrestling, yeah? It's not so popular sport, but for him, it's more important than the soccer, because I'm fooling in arm wrestling now, so that's...
Sure. Yeah. And obviously, looking at your country, in the relatively recent past, you've had a lot of iconic strength athletes. I mean, Mariusz Pudzianowski would have to be the one that sort of really put Poland on the map from a strength perspective. Yannick Dymek as well. Other guys, Dymek did well, but it was Pudzianowski And Kieliszkowski, right now.
Yeah, Kieliszkowski, awesome.
He really is. But there's been that tradition in later times of strength athletes. Is that something you guys tap into? Your dad tapped into, you and your brother. Are you very conscious of that? Is there sort of that, Poland thing going on?
Yeah. We even have these things between the districts. Like all the guys always proud about the guy. It's our guy. He's strong, etc. And like we have like team, which are compared between each other, like from the Warsaw, from our capital, and for example from the Krakow. It's like also a big city. They have like big teams in the soccer. They have representatives in the box, in the wrestling, for example, also in arm wrestling.
Sure.
For example, when I became a champion, I remember my first competition, like I was absolutely amateur. I was trying in the students' years, like on the sledge arm wrestling on the desk, yeah. But on the special table, the first time I remember I'm going to the big sport event in Krakow, in this city near to Warsaw, but a little bit near to the border. Yeah. And there was a lot of guys. Some guys was like me, amateurs who like trying their power the first time. But also it was amateur category and like senior category. Regular guys who pull in, and they are already arm wrestlers. And I remember that day when I was like trying that sport, I was winning in one fight with the guy who was the strongest in that moment in Poland. So everyone was shocked how it can be, who is this man, how it can be that the strongest guy, maybe just he leave him to win, etc. But it was really impressive day, and I remember this sport. I feel this feeling when I was pulling hard, won. Yeah. It was really cool. It maybe something of that emotions catch me to try it after that. So,
sure. Yeah. And how old were you at that point, mate? What age were you then?
It was 6 years before. Yeah, 6 years before. Because in the 15, maybe in the 15. It was 5 years before. Because in 15 I was firstly taking part in the Polish nationals. Yeah, it was already Polish nationals, and I also was I take on the left first place, on the right I take third place. So yeah.
And how old are you now, Alex?
What?
How old are you now, mate? What age are you now?
29 now.
You're 29 years old. So you've been pulling quite a while. You've got a lot of pretty extensive experience in arm wrestling now.
Yeah, it's sure, but I have a small break because I was like also playing football, American football, and trying to like train also arm wrestling. Yeah, but it was some period when I was going only in the football because it was like for me at that time was really interesting in that sport and to see how far our team can go and the Polish like scores etc. And we played very very good season. I remember that it was amazing. And after that, when we have in the football, American Football League, something like between P.A.L. and WAF. So they like goes to change. Yeah. And after that, like we have 2 leagues, but also every one of them was not so strong and not so interested enough to continue to play in the Polish league.
So winding the clock back a little bit to after you first tried arm wrestling or you first came into the sport, and you obviously came in with a bang. People, I'm sure they noticed you just because of your physical characteristics, but also if you've beaten a guy when you were a relative novice and you beat a guy who was a very established arm wrestler, there must have been a real buzz around you. People must have been thinking, wow, this guy has got a big future. Were you aware of, I know you said you really enjoyed the sport, but were you aware of sort of the elite level in the sport of arm wrestling then? Did you seek it out? Were you looking at arm wrestling at its highest level then?
Actually, that time I remember that it was like, I see some like steps to what else? Yeah, well, I won one competition. What can I do else? It was not so many options. because like everyone tells that we have like Polish Cup, Polish national competitions, and also in the districts of Poland we have some competitions where you can go and take a part and pull with other guys.
Yeah.
And actually maybe that time was even taking part on these district competitions more interesting for you, like because you are spend all the time with new people, you like learn something new and trying yourself between something like not the same like before. It was really interesting, but on that level, our club, our small club, honestly, was not know that you can go somewhere else, like to the European Championship or World Championship, because like all the guys, they like train, for example, 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years, and in that moment I was like only start to train. And also they say that you need to spend a lot of time, you need to train good, and after that you have big potential and go with us, yeah. But I think now it was the mistake that I was thinking that it really takes so much time to become better in armwrestling. It's not true. Like it's you need to try to train, but it's not the same that you need to train every day. Like take it like your job. It can be your hobby. You can do it with the pleasure, and you can spend the time with your friends, and you can go and train, and not like all day.
Not so intense.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it was like I was interested only in one thing. Like 5 years before, I was thinking about Polish Cup and how to become the strongest guy of Poland. I think how many I need to train, 5 years or 10 years. I was watching that guys they was really technical. They was huge, bigger than me that time, and it was absolutely some kind of magic for me to watch what they did on the table, to understand everything. And when I'm trying their grips, so I was thinking, oh shit, they are so strong. How can they be so strong like them? But after that, now I think that I can be.
And at what point did you find when you started the sport, mate, you had certain inspirations from a technical standpoint, or favourite arm wrestlers, people that you admired, or stylistically who you thought, oh, I like how that guy pulls, I like how this guy arm wrestles? Who were the guys that you first noticed and thought, yeah, I'm a fan of this person?
The first person was maybe the Polish arm wrestler, because previously in that time I don't know anybody from the like old stage. Yeah. And there was one guy, Jan Jołczyński. It's a guy who
great puller.
Yeah, he once even on the left hand won with Lemon. Lemon was like in the category 110 kilos. So, and
Jan was very tight press.
He likes to go to the triceps, like the hook.
Very strong. So, what happened to him? Where did he go?
Oh. It's an interesting story about, because he was like the strongest guy lots of time before me. And when I'm like starting to train, I'm always like seeing him like example of good arm wrestling. And I always try to pull with him as good as I can. So I remember that the last time, like first hour pulling, he won, second also. After that, we have the tough pulling between each other. And after that, one day, I won him. It was absolutely not expected for him. And after that, like, it was maybe half a year we don't pull without versus each other. And after that half a year, he made me think that it's time to go to spend the time with his family and another, because he don't want to be the second. No. He was always the first, and he say that, okay, we have some guy who can be good, best Polish arm wrestler, who can be good enough to represent Poland and etc. Something like that.
It's a shame, because I think you and Jan together would do each other good. You would be good for one another, and he would, when you pass him, he will bring his level on. I think it's good to have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And he was powerful. Really strong.
He was really strong. I remember our pulling, it was really cool. Like I say, he was like on the good level, good international level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was good technique. He was very strong in the triceps. I remember, I will send you the video where we're pulling on the left. It was like 5 or 2 minutes, good pulling, very tough.
Yeah. That I'd love, make sure you do send that link. I'd love to see that, mate. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your sort of natural instinct technically? When you came into the sport, did you find that you were more gravitating towards top rolling? Were you better in a hook? Where did you like to pull?
Firstly, I was like trying to pull whenever my hand is going. So it was like side pressure, sometimes hook.
Yep.
Never it was the clean top roll. Never. I never did this move before. Like don't think that when you have the long forearm, you can use it in top roll. No, I don't think about that in that time. And I firstly pull only on the hook or back pressure or something else between that. And later when I was like, the guys tell me to try this and this. And later I like opened the options of my arm that I can be top roll. Mm-hmm. So especially in the right, now maybe the top roll is my favorite technique.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned earlier in the show that you were a natural sprinter when you were young, and you had a pretty fast time because you've clearly got good fast twitch muscle, particularly a couple of years ago in your career when you were first sort of breaking onto the scene before the top 8. You would have that really explosive top roll start, and a lot of people were sort of drawn to that. I remember when I first contacted you after seeing you pull, again, way before top 8, and I was very impressed with your top roll. And I think I said at that time, if you carry on, mate, you'll be a bad man in a few years when you nail that down. But when was sort of the first approach from the elite level competition, or at what point did you get confidence that you could mix it up with the big guns, with the top men in the world?
Oh, I remember that day. It was Zloty Tour, the first Zloty Tour, when I was always like when I got the information that we have the Zloty Tour in Poland, I was always like to watch this competition. It's a beautiful show, and I was absolutely appreciate to possibility to watch it like a viewer.
Yeah.
But after that, when I'm going first time on the Zloty, it was the year when I was already the Polish Cup winner. So I was interested to check my power on that level. Everyone says, "Oh, come on, it's a biggest level. It's bigger than world championship." There are a lot of guys who have a lot of years of experience come here, and they are really strong. Yeah. And it was interesting to check it. And I remember it was 2017. Yeah, it was my second Zloty Tour, but I was like a little bit confident because I won the Polish Cup on the left and also in the right. And the first day, it was the left arm competition, left hand. And I was not so happy because left actually is my stronger hand. Mm-hmm. And I remember that it don't goes like it's stronger that day. It was stronger, but not smarter that day. I remember that it was not everything goes like I planned.
Yep.
And I was thinking, oh shit, it's so huge level. Okay, I don't think that I can be there 5 or in the 6 or upper in the place. And next day on the right, the list of the guys was even bigger. The number of world champions was huge there, and the big guy there. But I was not thinking about the results. I was not thinking that, oh, I need to do this or this. I think about one thing that I will go to the table and do my shot, and I want to put all my heart on the table and all my power live there. And it works. I don't know why, but it works better than previous day when I was trying to concentrate, because without any concentration, without any expectations of the results of my pulling and my fights, I was fighting really good. Now I watch my video, I see that I do good things when I pull the guys. So I remember that, like in the movie, this legendary movie Over the Top, where the Stallone made this with
a hat,
Yeah, so I maybe do it in my head, with my head. So I was, in one thing confident, in another side I was not expect anything from my fights. I just want to go and leave all my power in the half a second on the table. And it was cool. I was third. First was Levan Saginashvili. The second was guy from Russia. Vitaly Laletin was on sixth position or some near that. Also, it was guys like Silayev, Artem Ariv, David Kappa, the guy from the Azerbaijan, Aslanov. I don't remember all the names, but it was the names which I already like.
You're very much familiar with, yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
That must have, did you find that after that competition, your confidence, your inner belief went through the roof? You got a real confidence boost?
Yeah, I probably feel a little bit more confident, but it was really unexpected for me. I was really happy that day. I was shocked a little bit. So even till the end of that competitions, I was not thinking about the results. I started thinking about the results maybe day after the competition. So yeah. But I remember that feeling. I was really happy that day. It was amazing. I was happy not only about the result. I was happy about the pulling, that I feel that I'm put 100 of my power on the table. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool.
Now when you look at your career and where you've got to in the sport, obviously, with being such a huge guy, do you find that people keep technique from you a little bit? Do you find that people are very open with technique and teach you that more? Have you had to work quite hard to get the technique because you're so big and powerful? Everybody wants to keep a surprise, to beat the giant.
Exactly. It's always very interesting for the people and for me also. Like somebody like 70 kilos can beat some guys like 150. Because arm wrestling, it's not about usual power. It's about smart using of technique and your power and your strengths. So you need to be also endurable. You need to be technical. You need to be smart to know where it goes, where not it goes. And that the things which makes arm wrestling more interesting, even for me, for everybody. I think it's like cool, like the game on the table. It's not about one shot or something else, especially when you have the arm fight. Mm-hmm. So I remember the guys who already knows how to win. They show me some tips, show me some tricks. Yeah, it's not what always like works, but it's a better thing when you find the new way how to use your talent and to find the optimal way to use your power. It's cool. So I remember I never liked to pull with the guys who have not long arm and they are hookers. For example, a guy like Zaloyev, Babayev, it was absolutely uncomfortable opponents for me. I was we don't have such names in the Polish arm wrestling, but the guys like them was the problem for me, even when I was like a Polish Cup winner. Yep. I remember the days that the guys from the heavyweights was maybe easier opponents for me than the guys who are like strong, really cool hookers from the lower category. Mm-hmm. And I remember that I was starting to think what can I do, how to win with that guys, and open some kind of new training methods for me. Like it's really simple. It's not something it's not something new maybe. but I use special handle which I put here and the stripe, because when you go with the hooker, it's better to one with him in the top row, and you know that it always go to the straps, because it will be a strap match, and after that you need to use your power in the straps. So I remember that I take the special handle. I will also show it to you and train with the straps. So I remember I'm starting to train like that, and it was magic for me when I see that I can hold the guys like Rustam Babar, for example. It was awesome for me that day, and remember that I see that it's even more interesting when you go by trainings to your goal. When you go to your goal and you are really happy, not only about the results, but all the way when you become better, so it makes you happy.
Yeah, you know that you can reflect back on all the hours that you've spent, all the toil and all the graft and the effort that it's taken to get to that level. And also, it's usually when you've attained that level, if you're pursuing the sport, it's unlikely that you're going to fall away too quickly. You know, once you've got something in the toolkit, it usually tends to stay there, particularly mentally. You know, injuries and things like that can be a problem, but if you understand it, you can usually retrace your steps with time and training, you know. So, let's talk about the top 8. How did that come about? What took you to the top 8, Alex?
Oh, it's a big story. First of all, I want to tell you that I was absolutely, even don't have such a goal to go that year when top 8 was starts, to go in top 8. I was thinking about, it will be cool time. All the strongest guys will go to the top 8, and all the championships, like in Moldova, in that place and that place, will be open for me. So I think, okay, now
to the strategy.
Yeah. And after that, I was having one vendetta with Manuel Battaglia in Italy. They invited me there. I won with that cool guy. He's really strong. That year, he was like the strongest in Italy. He won with Lamparelli and Gasparini. Gasparini has some injuries with the wrist, and Manuel was the strongest guy. So it was cool. Like me, strongest guy from Poland, goes to Italy to pull with the strongest guy from Italy. So it was the first arm fight. I was really happy about that. After that, I have Vendetta All Stars with Scott Mendelson in Poland.
Yeah.
It was also interesting because Scott is an amazing guy. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. The power in this sport. And he has so many records in the bench press that I can count. I even don't remember how many he has. And he is really cool guy. So I was really happy to have the arm fight with him. And it was after that Vendetta All Stars, that was some troubles with the guys from the US. They have the contract with the WAL. They can go to top 8. And also it was very bad, sad day in the World Wrestling. We lost Andrei Pushkar.
Yeah.
And also Oleg was absolutely badly injured in the car accident. So after that, it was problem with the number of sportsmen at top 8. Yeah. And firstly, I remember that it was some transition fight. After that transition fight, you can go to top 8. But also the possibility of transition fight is great. So I said yes. And after news that guys from the US, not all can go to the top 8. It was opened and we goes inside without transition fight. So it's the beginning of the story of top 8. So I was absolutely not expected to go there, to go the highest level on arm wrestling. And now I can say that it's a big, cool story about all top 8. Like from the beginning and now, I think that this year makes me okay, I'm an amateur. I'm still amateur arm wrestler because I'm not have this big experience like guys 5 or 10 years and more. But now 1 year arm wrestler. I can say that now I'm already arm wrestler. I need to learn everything now. It's a big way before me, but now I can say that I'm an arm wrestler. Yeah.
And you made, it's fair to say that maybe because of the fact that you were less experienced coming into the top 8, we really got to see you grow, evolve and develop as that tournament progressed. We got to see the changes that you made to your game, how you sharpened your techniques. And yeah, I think it was quite endearing, really, to see that journey, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly as you're such an endearing, approachable person, it was interesting to hear your feedback after the matches and to see you develop. And then, if you wind the clock forward to your last outing with Krasimir, that was a hell of a match. I mean, that was a match. It was hard. It was like it must have been for you. How was that match? It must have been like an emotional roller coaster.
It was really amazing day. I really appreciate that day. It was really hard pulling. It was like, for me, it was a pleasure because now I'm like to win not only in one shot. I like to pull in arm wrestling. Yeah, I know that Kras is a legend already. He wants with probably with everyone from the like strong guys. I remember that he even won with Levan when it was Levan. Yeah. So like I expect that he is very strong in the hook. And it was really interesting for me. I remember that day. It was a huge emotional day. In the first rounds, I was absolutely confident on the grip. I was thinking, okay, now I have you. You maybe don't expect this, but I really respect Krasi. He's an amazing athlete. He's also arm wrestling, not on his body. He's on his mind and on his head. So it's a great thing. That day was a little bit different from the fight with Rustam Babayev, because with Rustam, when we pull, we have the table was set it on the special surface, so it can't jump. Yeah, I remember that I have some problems with the Krasi when I top roll him, and he hold me on with open wrist, and I go into the triceps, but I remember that it was small falls. I was a little bit like, I don't know how to explain, but I was not expecting that falls, so I was surprised about that falls.
Yeah, there was a couple of, when you were watching, there was a couple of fouls there that were like very, very harsh, you know. It seemed like,
Also like some millimeters, because I was concentrating. I feel his arm, he's very strong. He's amazingly strong, but I feel that, okay, I can use my power, And I was not concentrating too much on the grip. I was not concentrating about the center position or forward position. And I was thinking, okay, I will do what I want, what I like to do. So to pro. And, when I see that the problem with the falls, because table was jumped, it was not set. It was not set on the place, so it was jumped, and the millimeter falls makes some influence on me. So I was trying to use my power, but I need to be like. I was trying to go to the triceps, but I see that I need to go slowly, because too fast can be fall, or the table can jump. And it was some problems with the grip with the stripes, because it was also make some influence on us. I absolutely understand for Krasimir, it was not comfortable for him, because like my hand a little bit like bigger than his hand. And, also the position when I do this, my arm is taller. So I'm using this, and he trying to use the stripes to make like for me harder to attack on top row. He's like he's a really smart guy. I really respect him.
Yeah, he's a very good arm wrestler.
Yeah, he find a way what to do. So the first things which makes troubles to me to not go into the triceps. The second thing was how to hold me on this position as open wrist, and how to attack. Actually, we have 7 rounds. I was won in the first. I won the second. On the third round, it was falls. I have to falls and lose the third round. Fourth was absolutely already hard for me. I was really tired in that round. I was winning. It was 3-1, and after that 2 rounds, I lose in the falls.
Yeah.
So I remember I was messed up with that. So I was a little bit angry that they, myself, on the table and everything, because like it goes not according to my plan.
Sure.
But out some like pulling process, now I got some cool new knowledges and now I understand what to do even in that situations when you are not expect what to do. Sometimes you need to not to go on the attack. You need to wait on the defense. You need to be calm with your elbow position, not go too fast to the triceps. Just like you learn something interesting when you have hard pulling. Yeah. So it was for me that day when I learned something new. So like all the stages of top 8 give me some new information, new knowledges and new experience. Mm-hmm. So it was cool. In the seventh round, Krasi won with me, but he won 1 round, but he won all the vendetta. So that's amazing. Like we have maybe first P.A.L. 7 rounds vendetta in history. So
yeah, and it was an absolute screamer. Ladies and gents, if you haven't seen the match between Alex Kurdecha and Krasimir Kostadinov, get onto armpower.net, check that out. It's an absolute war. This guy went to the trenches on that one without a doubt. That brings us to the end of this first episode with Alex, but believe me, we're not done with this big boy yet. No. We're just warming up to find out what else is in the mind of this phenomenal new Polish athlete. Ladies and gents, if you do like what we do here on the Supernatural Strength channel, please like, subscribe, share, get the word out there. And in the interim, we hope you and your families are safe and well. We'll be back with more from Alex very, very soon. Until that time, take it easy, peeps.